fast. I end up first, those who start off first, I end up last. Last time I saw a 45 blast, a nigga who was last with me doing 50 years without parole, life is cold. I'd like to welcome y'all back to the 90 Proof Lounge, conversations of the 90s, the golden era, 100% hip hop and G-Funk. I'm Nick Cleve, and tonight we got another legend in the house. Former No Limit soldier, true tank dog, platinum selling artist, businessman, and all-out vet to the game. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. SERV-ON. How you doing, bro?
I'm blessed, man. I'm alive, man. So everything else is beautiful, man.
I hear you, man. We're happy to have you here, truly.
It's an honor, man. It's an honor, man. I think a lot of you guys, man, when I tell anyone I do an interview, and I want you guys to notice how important y'all are to the industry because we get to be our truth, with you guys having the platforms. You guys are really, we have our own media. You guys have maybe not have realized, you know, we don't have CNN. They only listen to us, something like that. MTV, none of them. But you guys that have these platforms, y'all are our media. The industry really has their own media, and you guys are the media. And a
Absolutely.
huge media.
Yep, absolutely. I agree. As we always do about this time, I'm going to get right into it. With your career, you've been a part of so many things. You've done so many things. I don't know where to start. So I'm going to just start at 1997. Huge year, life insurance, amazing album. And what was unique about it for me was 1998, not No Limit was flooding record stores like no other. And when you get to
Mhm.
1997, there was a lot of people I talked to that there was three albums that really stood out was Ghetto D, Huge Impact, Mystical Unpredictable, and Mr. SERV-ON Life Insurance. So what was that experience like making that album before No Limit really just took the game right over? It had such a unique sound. What was it like, the studio sessions, working with people like Brother Lynch Hung, the excitement, memorable moments? What was all of that like for you to create that album?
First, man, it was scary because you're right. We had so much success leading up to '97. We were becoming that super label, and the albums, Shaka, everybody, Silk, Corey Miller, and just TRU albums, everybody, Mia albums, Fiend albums, they charted high, and so that it was almost like saying, you know, say New England, with the Patriots. I'll just use them as an example. And Tom Brady done won two Super Bowls, and now you're about to play in the third, and you're the backup quarterback. Like, don't mess this up.
Right.
And I knew I was different, because my dialect was my from where I was from, my Southern dialect, but my rap style was East Coast because that's where I started rapping at. And a lot of people don't know that backstory about me, being in the military and going up to New York and being on the East Coast. So I was more East Coast oriented with my rap style. But my dialect was using Southern words where I was from, and sayings and phrases. And so the only person understood that was the person I came into the game with, which was KLC,
Right.
multi-platinum producer KLC. And so he knew I was nervous. When it was P was and E40 has a big reason that E40 will probably never know him. Hopefully see it. He's the reason that my album was gonna come out because I was doing what I was doing, and he heard a song which was called "After Dead Man," and asked P, "Which one is that?" And he was like, "That's Serve," and he was like, "Yeah, you better put him out." And so as time went on, he was like, "Yeah, it's your time," and I felt like, you know, he was also keeping his word, like it's your time to do your album now. And I felt like he knew I would do well, but I also think he was nervous in a sense because I was different from them. My rap pattern, my style, the words I chose and my mindset was different. And so it was a lot of pressure because I was the different one, from all of them. And
Right.
so, it was like KL was more or less like, yo, this is what we've been waiting for. I got you. You had me, you made sure I made it here to No Limit. Now I got you. You said, let's just relax and go be you. Don't try to be nobody else. And so me being me, and you could find it on a few interviews if you look deep enough, KL would talk about I set a certain standard with the getting the albums done. KL would tell you that serve album time was like a party, like a club, because the worst thing they could have ever done was tell us, hey, I can order whatever I want, right? While I'm in studio. And when he told me that, it was like, okay. And I wasn't even a drinker then. It was like I just want set to be comfortable, like I'm in a club. So
Mm.
man, I was ordering 4 bottles of champagne, 24 packs of Heineken, Hennessy,
Yeah.
Alizé. And I didn't even. The funny part, I was an athlete then. I was still in my basketball mind, and
Right.
so I really didn't drink, nor did I smoke. Period. You
Yeah.
feel what I'm saying? And so it's like I got that for everybody else to just have fun and just make it into a club atmosphere so I could feel more comfortable. Because when I went out to clubs, I never was one to be seen. I would just kind of be in the corner, relax and listen and watch. And
Right.
so I decided that's what I wanted. And so it just turned out to where everybody was going to be there anyway, to get on the songs and stuff. But I
Mm.
made it into a club atmosphere,
Right.
where we just had the liquor 8 days, and then Fiend was there he made it comfortable because he was there. It was like that guy that you could be in a room by yourself and then it's like, damn, I'm trying to figure out what I should do. And then he pop up, yo, you need me? So he was
Right.
always there, right? And I'm talking about all night till mornings because we had a process and people don't understand with No Limit, it wasn't you get 6 months to finish your album or 3 months. Like you
Yeah.
hear guys, oh, I'm working on my album and it come out. No, you had 2 weeks to turn in 28 songs of your album and then come out. So we had an assembly line where it was like each by the pound of producers, and each one of them had a room. So I might knock out a song there. I don't even get to listen to it. I go to the next room and choose whatever beat I want and what's going on with the next producer. Knock that out, go to the next one, go to the next one,
Mm.
and then come back the next day and do the same thing. And so for me, I was nervous because I'm like, and Kale was like, just let go, bro. Just be you. And so with life insurance, everything had a meaning behind it. For me, life insurance, it's like a insurance policy. And that's why Pete, when he first did the commercials, Mr. SERV-ON got them insurance policies for you.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
what life insurance really meant to me was, in this life, you are defined by paperwork. You come into this world, you have a birth certificate. You leave
Yep.
this world, you have a death certificate. Your social security card is on paper. Everything is on paper. You live and die for what? Money, paper. You know what I'm saying? And so, everything, your life stands on a piece of paper. You have to show paper for anything, whether it's a passport. You know what I'm saying? Everything. So, life insurance was basically, you know, ensuring that your life is going to be okay. And it comes on paper. You live and die for paper. And so, I knew what I wanted. And I've been waiting for a while, but it was still nerve wracking because it's like, oh God, we just had two number 1 albums and, and a couple other 10, 15, top 15, 15. And here I come.
Right.
And I never really was, I love the challenge, but it still was nerve wracking because for me, I was about the money was for family, but for me, I
Right.
wanted to live forever. I wanted my name and who I am and my words and my voice to live forever. So I know I had to do that type of album, you know, to not disrespect the Scarfaces who were my idols from the South.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And people before me. And I wanted to have my album mentioned with them and my name mentioned with them. And so that was the pressure, man. It was pressure, but I enjoyed it and I got to be me because P didn't interfere at all. He told you give him 5 types of songs and then the other 23 you could do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was like, man. It was pressured. Then I adapted and made it to where I felt comfortable.
That's dope, man. And it's crazy that you said that because I'm a huge No Limit fan, honestly. And a lot of people in the world are just huge No Limit fans because you guys took the game by storm. But there was one thing that you had mentioned that P just let you do your thing on that album. And I watched an interview with Mystical, and Mystical was saying that when he did Unpredictable, it was kind of the same thing. That P was just like, do your
Mhm.
thing. But he also had mentioned that that was his favorite album, Unpredictable, to do. But when he ended up doing Ghetto Fabulous, it was a little more pressure. It went from him having the pressure, the not being pressured to be able to make the Unpredictable the way he wanted, to doing Ghetto Fabulous
Mhm.
and being kind of like, let's get this out, let's get this out. Was that sort of how it was for you from Life Insurance to the next level?
Well, see what it was about now when you I've released and I was blessed by, I don't like saying fans. I don't like saying groupies. I say family
Right, right.
because when you guys support us, y'all feed our families. So you guys are family to me.
Hell
You know,
yeah.
I don't like, oh, we got fans. I don't call people fans. I call them family.
Mm,
And so, I would No Limit family. And so now I'm a name, not just a guy in a Bowdy movie with a baseball bat, and the one song, F a Dead Man, that people love the verse. Now I'm this guy with this album that people will say, yo, it's one of them legendary albums where
right.
I'm seeing my peers in rap and they like, yo, that Life Insurance, bro. And I'm sitting up like, wow, thank you. And for me, the added pressure was coming where I see my idol Scarface somewhere, and I'm saying, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm Mr. He said, "Man, don't tell me your name. I know your name, SERV-ON."
Yeah.
And I'm like now it's like it's different. What I asked for, you know what I'm saying, is what I got, which is I wanted my name not to be famous. I wanted my peers to respect and know who I was. And then
Right.
one day for my name and my words to never be forgotten. Even like in the movie Troy with I forgot the actor, I was Brad Pitt.
Yep.
And he's supposed to go out there to fight the big old guy in the beginning. And the kid was like, I would be scared. He said, nobody will ever remember you. So I believe in setting the standard of, so I will be remembered. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And so I did that. Step one with Life Insurance. And now going into the next level, the pressure was deep because now they know you. And at No
Hmm.
Limit, we had a way of, if you did first week over 100,000 on your first album, he was setting you up for album number two,
Right.
and it was expected you do over 100,000. You better double it. And so now I'm a name that's in between No Limit amongst all the other names, and then now the next level is coming. Now it's time to do this album. And it's like I can't go backwards. I have to go. And then we was coming off then where we was killing Billboard.
Yep.
And so it was like, honest to God, top five or, you know, or you fail.
Yep.
It was a failure because they were used to 200, 300,000 out the first week.
Yep.
And so doing that, I think I did something that I never thought I would do. And I always feel like it was a mistake, but then people love Next Level.
I
I
mean,
changed my rap style.
it went platinum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It went
Yeah.
platinum. You did
Yeah.
what you needed to do.
And yeah, but I changed my rap style because I had did some songs where that no one is still haven't heard, where I'm like, it was so awesome, like different. And then I just was like, no, I'm gonna be more aggressive. I don't like what I'm doing. I'm more laid back. And when I go back and listen to the ones I did that no one got to hear, it was like, yo, that could have changed could have been so much different. But at the same time, I like how the Next Level came out, and it put me in a different category, of music, because now I'm doing my video in New York with the Great Pun, and I'm making history because I'm the first Southern artist really to do a video out there,
Mhm.
not let alone with a artist of his caliber. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And so, you know, it was pressure. It was more pressure to me between those two because now you can't fail. You can't go backwards. And P didn't look at backwards. He always looked at forward. the
Yep.
hustler in him and the competitor in him. And then during that time, the crazy part within that 3 week period, and it's so funny, the next level made 25 years today, and so it's 25-year anniversary, and we talk about it,
So
you know
we
what I'm
talking
saying?
that
So
that's amazing to be
yeah,
able to talk to you on that day, man. Thank you for being able to bless me with that
yeah,
opportunity to talk to you on that day.
yeah. And so, you got to think about this, and a lot of people never knew this. I made number one amongst R. Kelly, uh, Lauren Hill, all of them came out within the 2 week period along with me. I replaced Lauren Hill, and she replaced R. Kelly at number one, and I replaced her at number one. And so that album, what it did and what it was with the next level, it was just what we said, the next level. It was time to go to another level,
Right.
and so I did, and I changed my rap style, and sometimes I wish I didn't, then other times I'm like, nah, people loved it. And so, and I, because I didn't want to get lost in the fact of my music is not about me. My music is about you guys.
Yeah.
My job is to give you guys that album of a lifetime, that song of a lifetime. For me, I always remember, and I tell young artists now, summertime is coming. Give those people that song that for 20 summers later, they're gonna remember that summer. I can remember when Biggie put One More Chance out, and
Yeah.
P had just gave me a Rolex, and he said in the song, "Put my rollies in the air," right?
Mhm.
And that whole summer, I had my damn wrist in the air. So I remember that summer. It was the greatest summer. And the song of my life summer was One More Chance by Biggie.
Yep.
And so, and that's our job. A lot of artists forget that, bro. Like, you don't rap for yourself.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You're rapping for them. You here to give therapy. You here to give, moments for them. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? When they down, they can put your music on and pick their head up. Or they need inspiration, know what I'm gonna listen to. You know what I'm saying? And I think even on that album, Hate the Way I Live, right? A lot of people come to me and tell me about that song, and I'm glad that I did it because it was to tell them, like, stop looking at what we are and know we the same as you guys. We go through so much, and I just want to let you to know, like, if you think I've got a bunch of money and I'm doing this and I ain't got no problems, and your stuff tough with you, nah, bro, I hate the way I live too right now.
Yep.
Friends are changing, people are changing, just like it is on you. And that's what our job is as artists. We storytellers, but at the same time, our job is to give you something when the days are tough. Let me turn on Serve, man. Let me listen to Hate the Way I Live. Let me listen to, Heaven is So Close or something like that. Or me and my girl not going through the right thing. Let me listen to We Ain't the Same.
Yep.
And I could, maybe he could speak for me. And that's what our job is. And so the pressure was deeper because No Limit was huge now. No
Huge.
Limit was big. It was crazy. So I had to be able to stand amongst the Jay Z's, and everybody else with my album. So
Mm.
it was more pressure between that, between life insurance and the next level. And I started knowing what I was doing,
Yep.
like setting up the album and knowing what songs I wanted to do, how I wanted to do them, who I wanted to reach, what demographics I wanted to do, what chances I wanted to take to hopefully get that crowd or that demographic. So it was a challenge. And then, like I said, coming out in a 2 week period with R. Kelly, Lauren Hill, I think Erica Badu, and a few others.
Exactly. And for you to be able to do that, for you to be able to sometimes even as an artist, like you just said, you need to step back some days and just be like, look what I did. And to be able to go in front of R. Kelly and superstars like Lauren Hill and stuff like that, you earned it. You did what you had to do. To touch a little more on the Big Pun feature. So every time that I end up bringing a guest onto 90 Proof, I always reach out to people, fans and stuff like that, family, like you said, and see what would people like to hear from you. And I know there was the Big Pun documentary, which explains and touches a little bit on the feature you guys did. What was that they want people wanted to know a little more, like they could feel they were there with you. What was it like meeting Big Pun, having that experience, not even only doing the song, shooting the video, which was amazing. everything was executed about it. What was the experience like? I mean, paint that picture for us.
Okay, a lot of times when you do features with people and everybody talk about, yeah, man, this was gangster, that was gangster. It was a learning experience. And what I mean by that, you know, see, people don't know the story behind it was why I really shot it in New York. When I was on the East Coast, I used to go up. A friend of mine, Raul Benefield from Far Rockaway, New York, he brought me up to New York when I was in the military with him. And I remember freestyling, and the dude was like from New York, was like, yeah, kid, you nice. And then he said, where you from? I said, New Orleans. He said, man, number murder and Mardi Gras there. I really wanted to punch him in the shit. You feel what I'm saying? Because I felt like he disrespected my city.
Right.
And so I was like, yeah, all right, you'll see. We gonna take this music. The South gonna take this, man. Y'all country. Yeah, all right, keep it up. I was like real angry. So, and then right around that time, that's when when Andre got booed, Outkast got booed, and he said the South got something to say. So it put a vendetta in me to say, I'll be back. I will be back. I
Right.
promise you, I will be back in New York. Remember what you said to me. And I remember driving back to Virginia, that was on my mind. And I was like, I want to be a part of taking everything from New York. I want to take the music from them. I want to take the title from them, because they don't respect the South. I see it more. And even one of my business idols, Russell Simmons, I wouldn't sign artists from the South, they're not hip hop and things like that,
Mhm.
so it was personal, and I had a personal vendetta. And so when Mia did the song with Fat Joe, who I really loved as an artist, people see everybody know Fat from Fat Joe with Lean Back and stuff. Now I know Jealous One's Envy, the album. And so when he came down, him and Pun, and I was becoming a big fan of Pun because I was cool with a lot of Latin dudes, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, Puerto Ricans and stuff in the military. It was my guys. And so, they was Pun, 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 and I just got into his music.
Yeah.
And so my thing was, I want to do a song with Pun. Joe connected it. He was like, whatever it costs, we're gonna do it. And so when they sent me up there, this was the teaching part. I'm in New York, man. I'm like, I'm back. Told them I was coming back. I told them years before. They
Yeah.
will remember me. I'm calling my guy. Where you guys at? That was with us that night. I want them to know I'm here, right? Couldn't get in touch with them. And so it was more or less like, so when I get to the studio, Pun really was first. He was, first of all, Fat Joe picked us up from the airport. And
Okay.
so, you know, and I saw his power. A lot of people talk about the streets. A lot of people talk about this and that. He's one of three rappers, four rappers that I know not lying about what they did in the streets. And it's nothing to glorify. I don't glorify drug selling and all that other stuff. I'm older now. That's not a hero.
But that's what it
But
wa
back then,
that's what it was
yeah,
back then, right? Yeah.
yeah. And it was like, okay, you talking that talk, do you really live like that?
Right.
No, I saw it when he pulled up, and they pulled up in his Benzes and picked us up. You know, brought us out to eat. They ate Terror Squad, which I hate that they're not together. They ate
Mhm.
as a family. Fat Joe on one end of the table, Pun on the other, and the rest of the soldiers all around the table. The protection man, Raul, God bless his dead. Monster think they lost him. Um, they moved in such a way. It was mob style. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I saw how deep in the streets they were. So it was no lie what he was rapping about. And so, but Joe was such a good guy, man. His thing was he did what rap's supposed to be. You touch my city, I got you. I'm
Yep.
gonna be a good host to you. So when we get to the studio, me, I want to get the liquor going and drinking like I'm in New York. I want, have me a little fun.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, Fat Joe was like, "Nah, we gotta get this work done." I said, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna get it done. Trust me. We do our work at no limit." And so he's like, "Okay." He's like, "You want to go see Pun before he come?" I said, "Yeah." Go in there. His wife Liza, perfect person. What's up, Liza? Great queen. And so she woke him up. He was in the bed, and he, rolled over, and he was like, "I'm gonna be there in a minute. Thank you, man, for coming. Let's get it. Let's get it done." So I go to the studio, wait, and I'm in there, and I'm doing my work. I'm doing what I got to do, right? And he comes in and he listens, he listens, he listens. He already had to be, and he go in there one take,
Oh,
no mess ups, no nothing.
yep.
So now to me, I'm representing the South. I got to go in there and do what I got to do. And so, in the hook, one of his guys that was there, he came up, was doing the hook and whatever, whatnot, and came up with the hook. I'm like, NY to NO, oh yeah, this gonna be big. And whole terror squad was in there. But what I learned, it was like, you know, my guys wanted to go out and it was like, look, let's get this business done. And I watched how Pun came in, did his work, and I'm still this way to today. Did his work, handle his business, and say, "Well, I see you, man. Appreciate it. Let's do it." We laughed and talked in there and stuff. And he went home to his family. He said, "No, I'm not going out. I'm going home." You know what I'm
Really?
saying? Get in the house while my family. And
Yeah.
so I didn't take it as a bad thing. I took it as a learning experience. Like he came and did what he had to do, and he went back home by his family.
It's business.
And so yeah, business. And so when we was done with that and we got down there, and P looked at me and he was like, "It's hot." He said, "But I'm gonna give you something you've been wanting." I said, "What's that?" "You're gonna shoot the video for that." I said, "We're gonna do the video for that." And he was like, "Yeah." He said, "But you're doing it in New York. Don't you want, didn't you say you was gonna go back? You was gonna come back?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." And when we got out there, the young guy, we always did work with young guys, up and coming guys. P always gave young guys a chance, whatever field you
Hell
was
yeah.
in. And so when we get back there, I realized we're doing a video in Times Square, where a lot of New York guys never shot videos at. They didn't even come up there like that, in that area, in
Hmm.
uptown like that. And then we was in a legendary club, the Tunnel, and which was so legendary, and it was a lot different. It was a lot of firsts, like first Southern artists shooting a video basically in New York, and then doing a video, doing it in Times Square. Then we doing it in a tunnel, and then a female that was on the video, she was the first video vixen. That was one of her first videos, Vita Guerrera.
Oh, okay.
Awesome, awesome, very respectful young lady, and she
Yeah.
was the first video vixen as time went on. But that was her first video, and we shot in front of the airport and things like that down there, LaGuardia, and it was, and then I got to meet, Capadonna came and shot,
Damn.
from the Wu, they got in the video, what I mean, and we had a few others that were supposed to come, but they didn't come down in that area, like talking about it, and so it was a beautiful thing, man, and and then to go back, the same studio Pac was shot in was where we shot the vid,
Quad.
where we did the song at, and it was so funny, man. We came out one door, right? Fat Joe came out another door way down the street, right? So we know that's where Pac gets shot, right? It was so funny. And so we coming out and we see a guy walking up the street, and my guys, my security, they not a game. They not talking, they gonna do what they do, and we
Right.
deal with it later.
Yeah.
And we looked down the street, and because Joe was taking us to Sue's Rendezvous, which is, anybody from New York will know about Sue's Rendezvous. And we ate at Jimmy's Cafe. And so I'm looking down at 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 Joe, and I'm looking at this guy coming, and I'm like, nah, you know what I'm saying? And before you know it, one of Joe guys came up and was like, walk on the other side of the street.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My guys, we were good, but it was like the way he handled it.
Yeah.
And he took me to the Bronx River Projects where they were playing basketball at the bottom, and the respect that I saw he had.
That's
You know what
crazy.
I'm saying? Was
That
just,
that's
yeah.
that's crazy, man, to have that experience. Thank you, sir, for sharing that story. A lot of people have been wanting to
Mhm.
hear and hear what went down that day, and thank you for sharing that. And just to touch a little bit more on what you were saying about how P did that for you. P was like, "Yo, you told me about how you wanted to get back in New York. We're gonna shoot the video here, and the video is crazy. You got the No Limit jersey on. You're with Pun, Times Square. Um, which brings me to think, when I hear some of the artists that came off of No Limit, because in the 90's, especially the early 90's, the big labels were, Death Row, Bad Boy, and you hear the things that you hear about those labels because the artists were on, especially Snoop, who ended up coming to No Limit. Snoop had said when
Mhm.
he was on death row that the artists on those labels, they didn't see much of each other. They didn't hang out with each other. But when he came to No Limit, you guys were a family. You guys hung out together, recorded together, ate together, and really were a family, and everybody loved it. So you even see the stories where you guys were like he had gotten like a place where you guys were all living in Baton Rouge with houses and stuff
Mhm.
like that. How was the vibe? Was that how it was on No Limit? Were you guys just all family and ride or die together? Was that how it was?
Mhm. You know, you hear when people, say and don't think that we all can get along as rappers. Nah, we loved each other hard. Like we had rules that you had to live by. It was very much military. Every day at 4:30, whether you could play basketball or not. We don't care if you could if you try to take a shot and the thing go 10 miles away. You still everybody had to come together. You
Right.
had to leave and we all went together, and we had rules. Say for instance, you were at the studio, right? No, you were out of town and you're married, right? My job is to check on your kids and make sure they have something, or if they need, or if your wife need anything, girlfriend need anything, like drop off or send money over there, whatever needed, and pass through, not come knock on your door and all that stuff, but pass through, make sure the house is good and your family is good. And if I left and went to go get something to eat, right, I got to call the studio and see who's in the studio, and if it's 30 people in there. I got to get their order and I got to bring food for all 30 of them. You know what I'm saying? We had
That's
we
real.
had rules like that, and even the guys that were around us that were the guys that, did our street team stuff or whatever would not, a lot of them had extra jobs and their jobs might be they washed cars. So you got to think you got about 50 cars that you're gonna wash. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? With all the guys and their wives and stuff and girlfriends or whatever, So those guys, and you weren't allowed to give them $20. He would get in your shit if he find out guy can't wash your car and you gave him anything less than $100. If they came, that they would come there and they would be the guys to cut our grass. We wasn't paying anybody else. He wanted to make sure those guys made money. So, they cut the grass. If we was going out of town and say your wife, needed to go to the grocery store, just had a baby or something like that, she could call them guys and give them the list. They go to the grocery store. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? I mean, it was always a family, and we kept our circle tight, and you did hang. We all hung around each other. We always was around each other, and Snoop when he came there, he did see that. Like it was camaraderie, and and we never to say you had so many artists, it wasn't personal competition, but you knew if Mystical was on that song, you better handle your business if you went the verse before him. And
Hmm.
Lord knows you better handle it the verse after. If Mia was on that song, you better handle your business the verse before her or the
Right.
verse after her. So you stayed on your toes when it came to musically, but family wise, you had responsibilities. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? And then and how we also got along. If you and I got in an argument and first person curse, if I go in the man, fuck you, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Somebody senior in that room is gonna say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Go ahead, put the gloves on." Go in the room, put the gloves on. And if you
Fig-
like, man, I'm not doing it, well, shut up then, because that's your brother. That's just you don't do that. You don't get personal. But if you want to get personal, it's that bad. Put them gloves on.
Figure it
And
out.
many times a lot of us went in them glove, put in that room with them gloves on, and got it off your chest, so it wouldn't go no further. So it wouldn't go to when Nixon, guns are drawn. Go be a man, put them gloves on. And that stopped a lot of disagreements because you would have dice games, here and there,
No, of
and
course.
people would get, upset, and things like that. And then if it seemed like too many things went on with that, you couldn't have dice games.
Hmm.
Everything was more business in that studio, but we were friends and more or less family, more than friends, but family. And you
Hmm.
have responsibilities. Like I said, if you was out of town, you know, I'm supposed to pass to your house to make sure it's all right at night. Not knock on the door, just pass and make sure everything look good around there to make sure your family's straight. And you would
Absolutely.
do the same for me. So
Exactly.
that's the way it was, man.
Yeah, and that's a good feeling. And with what you just said about how you guys were such a family, and with the record labels that were just before you and the things that they did differently, when you go into No Limit, you can tell how much of a family you guys were. Because even when you go into your albums, Life Insurance, The Next Level, a lot of those albums, Silk the Shockers Made Man album and Charge It to the Game, when you go
Mhm.
listen to those first songs, every single person on the label's almost on that first song after the intro, and you guys are all killing it,
Yeah.
and you can't get it confused. That's a No Limit family, and it was just amazing to
Mhm.
see that for the first time in hip hop. And not only that, when you look at things that were surrounding No Limit beforehand or even around that time, was you didn't see people. You saw gangster rap, you saw people who were doing more hip hop depending on where they were from, but I think you guys started your own genre of rap with soldier rap. It was
Yeah,
soldier rap.
and you're the first person, man. Jesus Christ, I'll be glad when you add this. You're the first person that said that. We used to always say that we had our own genre.
Yep.
We, and it's funny, you see, I'm talking about all these years, nobody ever said it because we did. You know what I'm saying? It was different. You know what I'm saying? It was different, our concepts and what we talked about, you know what I'm saying, and what we believed in, and we lived what we taught. You know what I'm saying? Because when you knew on the song, you had five guys on the song. If you saw us, it was five to 10 to 15 and 20 every time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and we lived that way. We dressed that way, and then our structure was military. If you ever watched us, not too many people get to see us, back then. Times are different now. When we got out of van, we got out, everybody got out at one time. We moved. We didn't move until one move.
Right.
It's like the military. You know what I'm saying? If whoever's rapping on stage, your job was to look around and watch. You were on guard at all
Mhm.
times. And when it was time, back then early on when we was doing clubs, we moved as a military. We didn't go through your back door.
Mhm.
We walked through your crowd to the stage to let you know we here. We don't fear you. And we want you to see us. 30 of us in Mahomey Fatigues, we mean business. We come to have fun, but we also letting you know we're not afraid of you in your city. And we will walk through the crowd with a chant to my NOLIMIT 187. We don't give a.
Yep.
And then we walk to the stage, KLC get in position, turn the music on, and we rock. And when we was done, we walk back through the crowd and back to out to our car. And we set that standard to let you know we amongst y'all, man. We are y'all. We not above you because we rap on you. We are y'all. We represent you up here. But
Hell
get
yeah.
no mistake, this is a military, and this is who we are. Because we all had a lot of us had military backgrounds from C to what I'm saying, to myself to Mystical.
Mystical.
You
Yep.
know what I mean? Yeah, because me and Mystical was on Desert Storm together on the ground at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And so yeah, we both was in the military at the same time doing Desert Storm. So I mean, it was family, and what in the military, is never leave no man behind, and we believe that. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, if I'm somewhere, and you could be passing, and somebody say, "Man, serve at this club," you had to stop doing what you was doing and come over there to make sure I'm good. And if I wanted you to stay, I didn't have to ask. You know what I'm saying? We had rules that was people didn't know about that we talking about now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I think that's what set us apart, because there was no jealousy. We understood this is P label, C and Silk is his brothers.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And you respected that chain of command, because we thought military. You know what I'm saying? God rest her dead, Big Ed. He really was, that lieutenant.
Yep.
I was a lieutenant. We had structure where if he was gone, and C and Silk not there, I'm there. Okay, I have that authority. You know what I'm saying, or whatever, would not to make sure everything go right and nothing goes wrong.
Right.
And everybody do what they're supposed to do.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And so that's what it was. And I think when Snoop came, he wasn't used to a lot of things, man. He wasn't even used to the pay scale,
No.
because with No Limit, P, P had it where we got paid every 2 weeks. And it was really to keep us out of New Orleans, right? and to keep us, keep money now. We got a paycheck every 2 weeks. And then if your album was coming out and you first got to No Limit, you got $1,500 a verse that you was on. So imagine if you did 4 songs on 4 songs, that's 6 grand, and we got 3 albums a month coming out. Think about that, and your 2 weeks pay.
Damn.
So when Snoop got there and Snoop was getting checks from like, and he was like, "Cuz y'all get paid for being on the album, on each other album." He's like, "Yeah, dog. Why you think all of us sitting in there? And plus, we just like being on each other albums." He was like, "Cuz, are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah." And when he got one of his every 2 weeks paychecks, he's like, "What's this for?" That's your money to put in your pocket, and you know what I'm saying, or whatever, whatnot. And he was like, "Cuz, are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah." You know what I'm saying? I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, y'all do features with people. Y'all get all your money?" I said, "Yep." I said, he don't want none of that. He don't want your money. You get your money." When he did a feature and he would normally do it as a favor because Snoop's such a great-hearted dude, man.
Hmm.
And he was like, "Nah, y'all gonna pay him." And Pete made sure he got his money. And that's why he tell you he learned the business and learned his value. You know what I mean? And then being around us, he had his house, we showing up by his house, people showing up, or he just coming over and playing Madden and
Hmm.
we all cooking or whatever. And then he felt safe because he knew that at any point, you know what I'm saying, you know, it was guns around him at all times. And our job was to always make sure, especially him, that he was protected and he was comfortable. And so he understood family. We would cook and he eating, you know what I'm saying? He cooked, we all eating, everybody show up. He start realizing something different. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Because he come from the banging culture and it's just always gangster, gangster, gangster. But then you come around us and know it can get gangster if need be. But nah, these dudes is just relaxed. They cool. They got you. They respect your wife. No disrespect to your wife. She
Hmm.
is a queen, and we respect that. You don't play with none of that. We don't do that. In any form or fashion, your kids become our kids. And so he got to see that and feel that, and I think that's what made him love things so much. We wasn't, and everybody tell you the same thing if you look at the videos, so it's not a lie or front. This really what No Limit was about. It
Hmm.
was about family and it was about military.
Absolutely. And I think that I honestly believe that that's why a lot of the world connected with you guys, because no matter what anybody says, when you listen to music, you can feel the vibe of the people that are making it and what's going on around them, or at least you do your best to. So you could feel that through No Limit. So I think with what Snoop went through and what all you guys were going through, to have somebody like P who was doing that for you, teaching you guys how to be businessmen and giving you that opportunity. I mean, you can't ask for much more. You just want to blossom from that and keep doing your own thing.
Yeah,
Um,
mm,
to
definitely. And he
ask,
taught business.
go ahead.
No, and he taught business, man. I would, me and C would always, Corey Miller, C Murder, I try not to use that with everything he's going through.
Right, right.
And, we would be on planes with him and ask him why you did that, why you did this, why you did that. He used to be like, "No, what, I'm tired of y'all asking me." So whenever he would do something business wise, he'd say, "Come here. This is why I did this, this is why I do that." And he might give you, say you get a check and he's like, go start that business you want to start, man. Go because this, you never know, this won't last this long or whatever, whatnot. Get you some property, get this. He preached that, so and in the end, when music slowed down, that's why we all able to still stand strong. And you never hear bad things about No Limit artists or
Nope.
doing bad and on their face and things like that because we was taught business by him. And he wasn't the type afraid to say on a plane, "Let me teach Serve how I do this." But I shouldn't do that because, he might think he can change and do this or go. No, he taught you.
Mhm,
He even put things in our hands. Like, the end, you know, my job was to oversee people putting their albums together and turning them in. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? He was teaching. He would let us be in the meetings when he's, uh, sitting there getting the albums done with, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and talking to them and to be like, okay, they might pass me up one day.
mhm.
Nah.
Yeah. Um, And it's crazy too because when not only were you guys learning the business in the right way and enjoying it, you guys were also making amazing music as well. So, what was if you had to pick with life insurance and the next level? What were your two favorite songs and two favorite verses off both of those albums?
Oh man.
Might be a hard question, but I mean the two
Yeah,
best.
that's a whole one.
Yeah,
I like my verse from oh man, I love Cemetery Maid. Gonna always be my favorite with C.
yeah.
Um, Hate the Way I Live. Um, Five Hollow Points. Throw Your City Up, because people don't know the story behind Throw Your City Up. And was a very important song to me. And Best Friend with My Lady, because you know I have such a deep respect for women, period, but a deeper respect for Black women, and and so I just wanted to let people know what. And Pac was one of my favorites, and he said, "Rap for the women, the dudes will follow." He used those words, but
Yeah.
how but that's what he was saying, and and I wanted to be that guy to say, "Tell the truth, man. Your girl is your best friend. You might have your day ones and your homie, but when you got your wife or that girl, that woman that you're with, it's your best friend. That's who
Mhm.
gonna ride with you." So, some those songs and stuff like that, man, and those were very important songs on those albums to me. And like I think my favorite verse of all time, it's two favorite verses. One was not on the No Limit album. And if I tell you that my favorite album was not my No Limit albums, you know what I'm
Dang.
saying? It was an album that, when I was on my own, it was called No More Questions.
Okay.
And it was a song on there, called A Soldier, Still a Soldier. And that was like one of my favorite verses. But as far as No Limit, one of my favorite verses, was my verse on To Eternity.
Oh yeah.
And that's my favorite verse sometime of all times, because I think people got to see me in another way, and to know I was on the song with Silk and I mean C and P, and
Mhm.
people was like, I had that verse on that song. It meant a lot. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But it's an album I had No More Questions, and it's a song on there, and I really was talking about, it was like a homage to Soldier Slim, and I was
R.I.P.
like, it was more or less on the verse, yeah, rest in peace. It was like a soldier does, saying I really explain what a soldier does, what a soldier is. A soldier is still a soldier 7 days a week, 7 days, 7 ways. A soldier is still a soldier, no matter what a soldier does. And it's not what a soldier was, it's what a soldier still is. So a soldier's no more what he is. And it was basically saying 7 days a week we are soldiers. It's no
Mhm.
day off. You decide to be a soldier in this life, whether it's in the true military or for your family and whatever we're in, because we all are soldiers. You're a soldier. Every day
Dang.
you do this, you get up and you on point on everything you do, getting this, whatever part of your life is, and then at the same time, you at war every day, trying to make sure your show is doing well, your business is doing well, your family is doing well. That's what soldiers do. And so, that was one of my favorite verses and favorite songs. But with No Limit to Eternity was my favorite verse, so,
That
and
that's
heaven
that
is so close. Yeah,
that
heaven is
that
so close.
that's the one for me too. I was glad you said that my two favorite was Heaven is So Close. And like everything you just said, man, it touched me because I got a wife, you know what I mean? I got a brand new son. He's 17 months old. And when I
Oh
was
man, congrats, man.
thank you, thank you. And when I heard
You
that
this your first son?
my first one,
Your
my
first
first
son?
son. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey brother, let me tell you something. And I just buried my mom like 3 weeks ago, man. And she's one of the things she told me one day when I first had my first son, and I want you to tell you this and you pay attention to this, right?
I
Don't
will.
miss a moment. My mom said, "You ever want to see who you were as a child? Because you can't remember that far back." She said, "Watch your son." So, however, just watch him, man. Not just enjoy him. Watch how he is. Watch what he might walk up to a cabinet and open the cabinet, look at it, and then close it back. and then go back for some reason and open it. That's who you were. That's what she said. My mother said, you can see who you were when you have a son. You can see who you actually was as a child. Like, and I was like, yeah, okay. When I first had my son, I'm watching him, and one day he took, and we get back an interview. I'm sorry, but I want you to really do this, man. And he took apart the alarm clock at 3 years old. And I'm so mad. I'm like, you gonna put it back together. Like I'm telling the 3 year old, you gonna put it back together,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
You had no business doing that. My mother walked in there and she said, you're gonna one, leave him alone. She said, leave him alone. She
yeah,
said, two, she said, you took my radio apart and you was curious. You took you took the toaster apart and I was like, I said, well, Mom, I don't get it. And she said, but look what you do now. I came in your studio. You take all that stuff out the box, you put it together, you understand all that equipment. You were curious back then about things. Just like you was curious in life, you've always wanted to know things and ask questions and learn things. She said, that's who you were. Start watching him. If you ever want to know your past that you can't remember
yeah,
because you were too young to store it, she said, watch him. Just say and watch who you were. You're gonna watch yourself grow up again. And I will watch my son, man, and it's been the most amazing things, man. Where sometimes I could tell I was shut down and be quiet and don't say nothing to people for a while. I
yeah,
don't get mad when he does that. I'm like, okay, somebody bothered him. Somebody either made him angry, or he's thinking about what he's about to do next because I was that way. And I'm like, damn, he does the same thing. And it was so amazing till I start watching him. And I'm telling you the same thing. Watch him sometime. And you're going to sit back and say, damn, was I like that? Yeah, the same way.
That's crazy that you
And
say that, man. Thank you so much for saying that. And when you said sorry about getting back to the interview, this is the interview. I do 90 proof, so you can sit here
okay.
and be able to have a drink with your favorite rapper and just see how he is as a person. And for you to say that,
Yeah,
man, it's really touching. I appreciate that. It's something I'll never
yeah,
forget. And I do that. I do watch my son
yeah.
just like you
Watch.
probably did. You
You're
know what
gonna
I mean?
laugh, man. Sometimes you're gonna laugh and be like, was I like that? Like,
Yeah,
I would bring him places and I leave it at this. I would bring him places, right? And I told my mom this one day. We walking in the mall and I see two girls coming up and he like two.
yeah,
And he was like, hi, and touch one of them thigh, right? I said,
yeah.
ma'am, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. She was like, oh, he's cute. And he just looking back and he's looking, shaking his head, right? I said,
Mhm.
Mom, this boy touched this lady thigh today, man. She said, son. She said, I knew you were going to like girls from when you were like 1 or 2 years old. She
Yeah,
said, you could cry. And a girl, she said, a lady would say, oh, he's so cute, and would pick you up and you would shut up. She was like, and she said, yes, you used to walk past and reach your hand out for girls to touch your hand and all that. I'm like, really? I say, he does that. And it's crazy as he was growing up, I really would see him do things, and I'm like, and I run next to my mom. I said, Mom, you know something he did today? She was like, trust me, you did the same thing. You didn't you would go to the bathroom and you would close the door and lock the door. I gotta get the door open because you was like you didn't want nobody to see you using the bathroom. He was the
yeah.
same way, bro. And the shit was amazing. That's why I'm telling you,
Changes you.
enjoy every moment
Yeah,
but look at him and you're gonna laugh and say like, "Damn, was I like that?"
I
Oh
do.
my God.
I do.
Yeah.
I do already, man. There's two things I want to do before we wrap this up.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Go go.
it was crazy because you said that you were making music and it touched a lot of different people in the world. It was actually brought me to someone that I had spoken with, someone that's very close to me. His name's Big Heat, and he wasn't even a fan of rap in general. And when you put out the next level, he came to me. This was back in 99. He came to me, and when I can't say the full, it was number two. Let's just say Tank Dogs. I can't say. So it was Tank Dogs.
Hmm.
And when that came out, he came to me and was like, I can't stop playing this song. And it was because of your verse when it came in with the first line. And it was like, if I came to your crib, fucked your wife, pissed all your law, to kicked your dog, would you cry about it? Every time to this day, he still plays that shit, looks at me. When I told him I was going to talk to you and interview you, he was like, man, he couldn't stop playing it. So it just shows how you guys were making music that was touching so many people. A guy who didn't even like rap. that line
Yeah,
brought him
salute
in.
Big Heat. Salute Big Heat.
Yeah, salute Big Heat, definitely. And one thing I want to do, I really appreciate you coming through and blessing us with these conversations. Serve, you're a real dude. I
Mhm.
knew it since the first time we spoke on the phone. And touching on that is I want to take a shot for your mother because you know
Yeah, man.
you buried her last week. Can you grab me that
Yeah.
tequila? We're gonna take a shot for her.
Oh
And
man, and taking a shot with my favorite tequila. Yeah, man.
there you go. I wish I could pass you some through the Zoom, but I'm going to take enough for both of us. This is for your mother,
Yeah,
and this is for the
yeah,
amazing career that you've had, the people that you've touched along the way, and the bright future that you're going to have, and the many more people that you're going to touch in this life. It's been so nice having you here, Serve. So I'm going to pour this up for the both of
yeah,
us.
man. Thanks, man.
I'm going to put it
To
in
my
there.
mom, man. Dolores, aka Big D, man.
There
She
you
was
go.
she was a beautiful lady, but she was a stern lady.
This to
Salute to
Mrs.
Big D, man.
There you go, Mrs.
Yeah,
Serve-On. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
man. Yeah, man. It's rough, man. And I tell people, man, take a minute, man. Call your parent. If you could go see them, go see them. You know,
Absolutely.
and she fought hard, man. Dementia, Alzheimer's and stuff, but she fought. She was a soldier. So, I had her for 54 years and I have to respect that and I respect the will of God. So, but it's rough, man. I'm still lost and you don't realize you gave me a moment away from being lost because this time of the day I'll be kind of lost, man. Like, and, able to talk and things like that. And, so I respect that, man. And I appreciate you for it, man. And so many people that did reach out, and that's the one thing I tell people I would never give up on humanity because when I went through this with my mother and still going through it, so
Right.
many people reached out, man. That's why I can't give up on humanity and say, you know what, some people like, I don't mess with people or whatever. Nah, man.
Yeah.
It was days that people have no idea what state of mind I was in driving at night, 100 and 120 miles an hour, man, and just hurt. And, and people reach out and call or I see a message and I slow down, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. So, I just tell people, please, man, I don't care if you have issues with your parent, make it
Mm.
right. Go
Right.
see them or call, and so,
Definitely.
that's where I'm at, man. And I see you got headphones on, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta get you some Vibe World headphones, man.
Get me those, bro. I appreciate it. Serve-On. Thank
Hmm.
you so much for coming through. And anytime, man, we need to make this happen again. I want to bring you on for another
Yeah,
episode.
definitely.
But thank you so much for everything. You're a soldier, true
Yeah.
tank dog for life. Thank you for coming and blessing us, bro.
Nah, I appreciate you guys, and you keep doing what you're doing, man, and promise me, man, that you're gonna take a young guy under your wing and teach him what you know, so your show
Absolutely.
goes on. That's all
Absolutely.
I ask you to do. That's what soldiers do. Get your young guy, make sure down the line you teach him, and you know what I'm saying, and introduce him to it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Hopefully, little man take over, man.
Definitely. He'll be
Really.
interviewing you next. Serve-On. It's nothing
Hey,
but love. Nothing but love, brother. Let's make it happen.
all right, my brother. I
All right.
appreciate you and thank you so much. God
Thank
bless
you.
and big heat salute, baby.
Definitely. Later, bro.